Namaste, Adab, hello. This is Dr. Tangella Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Once again with a new discussion, relevant topic for discussion, and we have very good guests for today's program. So in the studio we have Professor Ramesh Reddy, who has been the Dean and Principal of Usmania University Engineering College. Similarly, on the phone line, we have another eminent economist. He is a retired Professor of Economics, Mr. Shiva Reddy. Welcome to special discussion, sir.
Okay.
Shiva Reddy, welcome to special discussion. Ramesh Reddy, you.
Okay.
Today's topic is, we have been facing a severe economic crisis. So now, in the name of Corona, everything is being either discussed or not in public. There is nothing in public domain as to how Corona has been creating hardships for a common man in relation to the budgetary politics which every country has. And that's how they will be presenting, whether it's for the welfare or development. But most of us forget that even before this Corona, we have been discussing it very clearly that there is a severe economic slowdown in the global perspective as well as in the Indian context, then our states and South Indian context also. So government after government, when they were presenting their budgets, when you revisit the last 2-year budgets, it will be crystal clear as to how this recession has really overtaken common man's dream of living a comfortable life with absolute peace and joy. So ultimately, the budgets and the governments should be in the interest of welfare of the people. As our eminent guest, Professor Ramesh Reddy, was trying to coin, from now onwards it will be AC, it will be BC and AC, before Corona, after Corona, unfortunately. So no country is paid because of Corona, no doubt. But is it Corona which is really devastating the economies of states, countries worldwide? That is our discussion for subject, because once the lockdown started, instead of people being given something, wherein at least in the form of some cash into their accounts, in other words, Prime Minister's Relief or CARES Fund or CM's Relief Fund, people have started to contribute in a very, very big way. Now it is approximately 1,20,000 crores and more for PM CARES. And then for state chief ministers, we do not know across the country how much they have collected. I mean to say, people have donated to CM relief funds. These things have to come out, because why are they collecting? For whose interest they are collecting all this money? Is it not for the suffering public? Then why is that this money is not being translated into cash into the accounts of suffering public? This is $1 million question. Instead, now a new legacy has come out wherein people are being charged in the form of wine shop looting. We have seen Delhi government raising the prices exorbitantly to 75%. 70%. And Andhra Pradesh, 75%. They have gone to 75%. This is touching common man's pocket. When I was traveling to the studio, I have seen large queues, and I have seen all those lower strata group of people who have been in the queues. Now even the Telangana government, at least he says, no, we are not going to loot. He says for medium range local liquor, they said it will be 11% more, and for others it will be 16%. But invariably, it is going to touch the exchequer of a family. The family is going to be put into hardships. And this is the new way they want to generate revenue. One government, the other government says, no, by this hike, we are seeing to that people don't desist in buying, so that they move away from this. But I don't know how far this logic applies to them, as we have seen Telangana. The other aspect is, we have been watching very silently government after government, whether it is state or center, because state GST and central GST both are working for fuel. how exorbitantly the fuel prices have been raised over a period of time. This is mind-boggling when the international per barrel oil prices have come down to a bare minimum level. In spite of that, in India, every state government and central government both have been very clearly been increasing the prices of fuel, and this has got a cascading effect right from the essential commodity to the normal transport of a common man. So this forms the crux of our discussion. So let me start with Professor Shiva Reddy garu. How do you look at this scenario?
Yeah, actually, this is the situation which affected almost universally,
Okay.
from global to local, and it affected every aspect of the society. There is the economy, environment, health, education, and whatever you name, it really affected, irrespective of whether you are a rich person or poor person, whether you belong to particular category, rural, urban, etc., etc. So therefore, one can also see that what is the situation before, what is going to the situation after the problem sets right. Hoping so that shortly we are going to come to overcome this crisis, at least temporarily. Even before this crisis started, and there are also symptoms of recession. Obviously, I kept on saying in different circles that rate of growth of the economy started declining. That is one of the important indicators of the health of the economy. Second important of the economy is that employment opportunities have started declining. And as such, the first time that unemployment rate touched double digit, because the double digit rate of unemployment is very common in most of the developed countries, but when it comes to India, we never experienced double digit unemployment rate earlier. So when coupled with declining rate of growth of the economy and increasing unemployment rate, obviously one can see what is the impact of them on different sections of the society. So therefore, particularly after this crisis came into being, and the situation has worsened. Of course, if you look into the recent estimates of by noted economists and other World Bank, IMF, and other economists of Indian origin like Geeta Raghuram Rajan, that global level it is going to be negative. There is no doubt about rate of growth of the economy is going to be negative. Whether it is negative -1, -2, -3, -4, it is certain. But when it comes to India, there is some sort of clarity is missing. Some say that it is likely to be positive, but it is somewhere near zero. Some say that it is 1.8%. When compared to 6 to 7% of the rate of growth of which we experienced in recent past, when all of a sudden, when it is getting to 1.8%, you can see how it is going to affect the different sections of the population. And because even smallest decline in rate of the growth of the economy is going to affect adversely the sections which are below maybe poverty line, those who depend upon casual employment, unorganized sector, informal sector, from maybe some rural areas and slum areas. So therefore, if you look into the scenario in the present situation, you see that who are the ones who are affected very significantly, very badly. Despite the fact some temporary relief measures are being arranged to overcome the desperate hunger for the time being, but it is only temporary, and how long you can continue this type of temporary measures unless you really try to revive the economy, at least marginally relaxing certain important sectors, so without sacrificing on this what is called your lockdown, other things. And in that context, I think now the governments have realized that continuing with all this lockdown at this rate without any looking into what is going to be the impact on livelihoods, economy, and they started relaxing. And while relaxing them, but I think they have not taken certain precautions actually. Because they have not taken precautions even while announcing the lockdown. Because we know the situation that it is going from bad to worse, and we should have given 1 or 2 days time cautioning that we are going to put certain very stringent restrictions on the movement of the people. If they really want any temporary relocation, I think you make this an opportunity such that we can ruthlessly implement actually. There actually, with the central government and state governments have not given at least bare minimum time to at least temporarily adjust themselves, at least for few days actually. And there actually, so once having implemented and continued till the third phase, because earlier we thought that it may be temporary till the first, what is called that March 22nd to 3rd, then you extended and then continued extending. So obviously you can see the psychological impact of this actually, because being a human being, we also equally interested in other things than just simply sitting at home. Sometimes sitting at home is also punishment. Besides losing your earnings, is also punishment for the people. Therefore, even if you provided certain relief measures in the beginning, and the thinking have started, particularly among this migrant section, which actually we do not know exact number of migrant workers from different parts of the country working in different states. So now we know the deficiency in the data related to migrant labor, which really affecting relief measures also actually. Because had you have some idea, despite the fact you have so many advanced developments in science and technology, data, but still we lack reasonable figure to say, so this is the number of migrant workers working in different sectors. Because we do not know how many plumbers are there, how many with your false roof persons are there, and how many are different parts.
Construction labor and so on and so forth.
Construction also specialized actually. If you look into the workers coming from different parts of India, and you can see sizable worker coming from Orissa is from plumbing, and UP is for painting, or some Rajasthan is your what is called flooring. These are the specialized ones. But if you have some idea, the measures that would have taken would have really lessened the impact. Obviously, the impact is there, but at least you have mitigated, not completely avoided. And that is the reason, and now it is pandemic added to this pandemic actually. Because pandemic resulted in another pandemic. I don't know what is likely to be the impact of this pandemic, because there's what is called without proper planning going here, there, because the very basis for social distance is also more or less violated in the relief measures actually. This unfortunate thing is, I don't know what is going to be the impact of this one. This is particularly related to what is going to be the impact on health. But once the laborers started going back to this respective places.
Right.
If you revive the activity that actually the government of Telangana also answered, you continue your construction and other activities.
Right.
But how can construction can take place? Because the construction activity, the workers are required to complete different parts related to construction. If they have not, you are gone just now, and you can't expect them to be back.
4 months.
Right. And also some who are here, they're already homesick now. Because of all this, after watching all this, now, they want to go back now. So at this time, central and state governments are trying to relax, stating that now you can start with construction activity. This is, as you rightly said, lack of preparedness, lack of insight into all these things has led to this pandemonium. Anyhow, just stay in the line, sir. I'll come back to you again. Kindly hold the line.
Yeah, that's what I think is because while launching, look into all these repercussions slightly.
Right. So that is why now both the state and central are in a catch-9 situation. Yeah, I'll come back to you, Professor. Kindly hold the line.
Okay.
Ramesh Reddy, you have been professor, a government servant. So instead of taking pro-public measures, now they are taking away, they say there is a 50% cut in pensions, this thing. And even the employees also, they have to contribute in the form of 50% cut. And even common man has to pay a lot in the form of essential commodities. The rates have become exorbitant. Now, even the diesel and petrol rates, the fuel rates, now in the market you have seen just wine shops have been opened. They have also priced it exorbitantly. See, everything is touching the pocket instead of governments coming to the rescue of commoner. It's a human concern, and mainly to fight corona you need health, general health condition, for which you need to have good nutritious food. And also even transport also is going to become dearer now. So how do you look at these measures?
Sir, a few things we have to understand. We have elected governments who are irresponsible. They say so many things, keep on talking rhetoric, but in reality, they are not able to perform. In performance, they are failing because there is no proper planning, action plan is not there.
Okay.
Therefore, the intentions may be good, but execution failure. It is something like Muhammad bin Tughlaq government. So, although intentions were good, execution failure. Even now, we failed in execution. For example, 15 lakhs per account, he said he will put.
2014, that was election promise.
Promised before the elections.
You will get the amount from black.
And they will get all that money from Switzerland account. All the black money will come back, and they will put 15 lakhs in every account.
Right.
Neither the black money has come, nor the money has gone anything into the people's. Secondly, suddenly announced demonetization. But it is a big failure in implementation. They did not even foresee the size of currencies are different, and the existing ATM note sizes are different. Now, once they realized it took almost 1 year to rectify. 6 months minimum it took.
That is, people thought that post demonetization that 15 lakhs will come into their account.
And in fact, he promised that 50 days you just bear this inconvenience. After that, everyone. But now it is almost 5 years, nothing has happened. That is the second. And GST is another thing, already suffering businessman because of demonetization. The funds are in short supply. Demonetization has destroyed all the ancillary units in the country.
Small and medium
scale ancillary countries for the big industry, they all disappeared.
Lot of employment
and economy also used to be there very high. All that have different. My friend, when immediately after 2 days, when I rang up in Kanpur, he said 5,000 industries have closed down, and workers are also realized that there is no way the money can be paid to those people. So most of them have vanished to their respective native places.
So Corona started in
later
because of demonetization only.
No.
The effect of Corona, you mean to say?
Similar effect of Corona is minimum.
Effect we already.
Sir, effect of Corona is minimum. It is only mismanagement of the governments which is more effective.
Right.
More on the people's life and misery of the life.
Right.
Is being because of mismanagement of the government. They could not. They are, unfortunately, there are no great educated intellectual people in that government.
Okay.
And they cannot tolerate any intellectual advising them, like Reserve Bank of India governors kept on being changed. Raghuram Rajan, Urjit Patel, and now afterwards somebody, now Das, who is not an economist but an IAS officer. What they want is whoever toes the line, whatever they want, they have to. And another stuntmanship is very high in this government, central, especially sometimes they say surgical strike, sometimes they say that Kashmir issue, Article 370. Those are not to be touched now when the economy is in the downhill. So we have to first rectify economics, improve the economy of the people, give a confidence of economic confidence to the people. After that, they should touch those subjects which are, we don't know how many years they will take. Kashmir, even now we are hearing there are a lot of cross-firing going on between the militants and the
soldiers also.
Yes, army. Yesterday itself,
Unfortunately,
let's say yesterday 3 of our officers have been shot down.
Five very
Total.
eminent
So,
officers.
what is the use of removing 370? They cannot do anything without people's participation. See, they are taking democracy for a ride. Any state, anywhere, without people's confidence, nothing, no action can be successful. People will not cooperate. That is what happened in Bangladesh. People have cooperated with the Indian forces rather than the Pakistani forces.
Right.
Therefore, the Bangladesh has to be created separate because they have no love for Pakistan.
Right.
Similarly, in Kashmir, we are pushing the people to a level where they feel that they are not part of India.
Right, okay,
It's
that's
not good.
Right.
It is not good. Secondly, when we come to GST is over,
Right.
all this sort of a stunt activities are more.
Right.
Added to that, they have misinformed the entire population through social media, creating an euphoria about the Prime Minister is a super god or something like that,
Right.
which a human being trying to be projected as super god without doing anything, and he continues to live for till 2030 as Prime Minister. This sort of a approach is negative. Another aspect what they are doing, they don't want any competitor for the elections. Therefore, they always say Congress-free nation. So they want Congress to die so that there is nobody in the nation to counter them.
Right.
This sort of approach is not in the interest of democracy.
Okay.
Added to that, the people's concern is least preferred. Once in a meeting, he said, I am a businessman, I am a vyapari, I come from a vyapari, and I know in my blood commerce flows. With that statement, his own minister, important minister, Gadkari, after 3 days he said, whenever a country's prime minister is headed by a vyapari, the people will be bhikari.
Wonderful.
This sort of a statement his own minister is giving.
Right.
Naturally, the problem with business people heading the nation is
Right.
the same thing happening in America also. Business people heading the nation,
Right.
they don't want to forego any money.
Right.
They know that for every money they can earn interest.
Right. Okay.
Therefore, they don't want to give any freebies to anybody.
But that too in such type of severe crisis.
And in severe
Before
crisis,
Corona also there was economic
and a
recession.
person who has no love for any family, who has no family, no love for a wife, no love for parents, no love for brothers, it is difficult for him to have love for the people. This is
I
natural.
think that is too personal now. Okay, let me come
No, it's
back
not
to-
a question of personal.
Right.
Character,
Okay.
attitudes.
Right.
It's very difficult.
Right.
It's not personal, sir. It
If
is,
we
we analyze
put that with the actions which
psychology
is taken,
of
which has
a
affected
person-
people, that should be that shall be
psychology of
appreciated.
a person can be studied from his past. With the result, he cannot wholeheartedly think of people's interests and flow the money. Now, the economy is completely shattered. There is no money, nothing, everything is over. Despite of these problems economic, again he gives he frees the business communities. Up to now nearly 10 lakhs crores he has spent unnecessarily on the business people who are non-performing accounts, NPAs. On those people he has spent so much of money. When the corona effect is there also, he has given another 68,000 crores he has freed for those people whom he wanted to arrest and put them behind the jail, and he assured the people they will come and they will be put behind the jail. But their entire loans have been cleared. And what sort of a people? Those who ran away from the country.
Small time, middle
Small-
class people have to
number
pay
of
their
people-
EMIs, everything now.
Yes.
It is very
Choksi.
difficult for them.
Choksi.
No salaries, but still
Yes.
they have to counter. But
Choksi,
that's
why-
all.
what is-
69,000 crores, yes, it is become, it is.
What is
became
the need
public
for
domain.
8,000 crores of Choksi's loans to be cleared?
Right.
They may say it is an adjustment problem in the accounts.
How can
But
they
in the
do that?
past, never it happened like this.
Right.
This is the first time we are hearing this sort of a thing.
Now, many are losing their jobs. Many small
Now-
and medium scale industries are closing down.
Yes.
And in this condition, those 69,000 crores should have been in the larger public interest.
Okay, sir. Despite of that, he has signed an agreement, this government has signed an agreement to borrow $6 billion from IMF. $1 billion have already come.
That is in the form of grant. They said
Grant.
they have announced grant.
Now, 1.75 billion to contain corona.
Right.
1.75 billion also is again coming up very shortly.
Right.
Where is this money going? Where is this spending?
That is the point.
Is
That's
it for corona or for something else?
PPEs also we have seen he is asking us to prepare homemade masks. So big amount-
Another aspect we have to say,
Yeah.
when there is a PM relief fund account,
Right.
which is more transparent,
Right.
he created another account, PM Cares, which is not answerable to anybody, not accountable to any person. Where is that money going?
So that amount they have to clearly specify right from PM to CMs, all these funds, how much they
Ah.
could get till this date, and what are they going to do
And,
with that amount?
sir,
Because
another-
at least now this is the time people are really suffering. They don't have money to buy minimum food requirements now.
Another
Without
drawback,
the job. So now this is the time they should come to the rescue of every.
another drawback of this government is
Right.
it is not transparent.
That's what.
What it does behind, what it projects before is something different.
Okay.
Papers, TVs, none of them have reported about IMF loan, IMF borrowings.
Right.
Why it should be open? Why it should be so opaque?
In this
and
crisis,
closed?
this amount should have been only for
Corona effect
people
control.
to control,
Corona control
to
only.
mitigate people's suffering.
So all those who are
right
suffering,
from rural, right from farmer
farmer to
to the city, urban, who has lost his job, who is
yes,
going to lose his job, who is
industrialists,
not
even industrialists.
small and medium scale industries also, definitely,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
We'll come back to you.
Yes, sir.
And you have to mention any point?
No, okay.
Yeah. Professor Shivareddy, I think you have heard Mr. Ramesh Reddy. So now let me, you are an economist, now let me bring it to your notice. Whether the economy should be in the form of pyramid from bottom to top or top to bottom, taking care of only 1% in the form of corporate sectors. For them, they have been giving so many incentives in the form of, now you have seen 69,000 crores waiver. And not only that, the 10 lakh crores non-performance assets, now with interest accrued, it should have been more than 12 to 13 lakhs. What happened to that? Why are why is the union government not clear on that? And in the name of just helping them, now this is a doubt every Indian citizen has, in the name of helping them, banks have been merged. Banks have been merged to see that they can overcome this. How do you look at this scenario of our economy?
Yeah, actually, there has been a lot of discussion, debate about NPAs, and recently that somewhere around 69,000 crores they written off by RBI. So we already know because it is. I don't know whether it is the right time to discuss. It is already a closed issue more or less because I don't think we expect the existing system to recover them, particularly in this context. Okay. Though technically they say it's not, we are completely waiving the loan only for name of what is called
Adjustment.
what bank booking
adjustment.
book adjustment type, but it is unlikely that we are going to recover this principal amount. Leave about interest. Interest, I think maybe sometimes double the principal amount because we never know what is the exact principal amount taken and what is the rate of interest that is added over a period of time. Certainly, the principal amount sometimes may be much less than the interest that is cumulative. Most of the time they are quoting only the principal amount, not the interest amount. So I think it's with the current scenario, it is too much to expect from the government to recover all of them because we know the situation and what are the political economy issues, etc., etc., sir. Okay. But the question is, but given the context, how to revive the one? Okay. But bringing that money, they are saying that you bring back what is called black money, which is running into lakhs of crores, lying vacant, etc., etc., or you collect from those who are defaulters and use that money for revival. That is, I think, it is not going to happen. I don't think that we will be able to use that money for this, at least immediate recovery. We do not know in the future if they initiate steps.
No, we are going to. No,
Even partly amount of the money.
No, we are running this scroll also from bank A to bank Z. Clearly more than 10 lakh crores of the amount which was due at the time of demonetization. Leave out at every budget presentation, you see below 20,000 crores waived off, 30,000 crores waived off. In whose interest these waivers have been done? And including these non-performance assets. How is that the same company? I'll give you an example. Realcom was from Anil Ambani. It goes into loss. They file insolvency petition. But the entire infrastructure is again taken up by Jio, and for that also again they get a loan. And not only that, for me, if I have to go for loan, in this we don't get proper loans also. If you default for one EMI, they said CIBIL is there, Credit Information Bureau. I don't know how this organization, it is private in nature, banks have been providing information to them. If CIBIL is so correct and accurate, how is that Anil Ambani could take loan after loan? How is that even Mukesh Ambani could again take loan on the same infrastructure of Realcom? And now even he had come into Rafael this thing also. How could a businessman who has filed insolvency petition, again you find him prominently figuring in Rafael and everything?
Yeah. Just here actually you have to look into the that is the structure of the economy, the framework in which we are operating. So before the economic reforms, the public sector was the main entity and the private sector role is very limited, though we were in the mixed economy framework. But the private sector was in the hands of those who are really ethically and management-wise, they are very. That is how I think still we know, recollect Tata, Birla, etc., etc. But now these norms are nowhere near.
Ambani's, Adani's, now new names.
Adani's.
They have entered Forbes, they have entered in the Forbes list, and they file insolvency petitions, and they go for huge loans, and nothing comes back to people. That's what. The bank's money is deposits of people. Am I right?
Giving loan, giving, because once you go for national economic reforms, we wanted to give the prominent role to market, since the government cannot operate everything, so that private sector has to be given some incentives along with required credit. So in that context, they really operate in the private framework and they generate employment, production, and contribute to the growth. And to the great extent, he really succeeded. Okay. So immediately after the economic reforms, at least 1 week, 1 decade or so, I think economy recovered greatly, and there were not many defaulters actually. Very small amount, because what happened is when a industrialist or something undertakes a project, one has to look into so many things actually, right? Just to get the loan, while giving the loan, one has to be very, very careful. What is the likely impact of this industry on the economy, employment growth, so that whether we'll get back the recovery or not. But at that point of time, because of political connections and other pressures, and without looking into what is called backward and forward linkages, this is normally we discuss under this, that the loans are sanctioned, and because of inefficient other things, the industry has not taken off. Taken actually. That is how you look into how your this one, airlines, Yeah, the Kingfisher Airlines, which is basically sheer going for what is called all sorts of things without proper management systems taking
Controls.
care actually.
Because it's public
Some-
money rooted through banks, they are
Yeah,
enjoying
but-
at the
but-
cost of
but-
public
but-
suffering. Now, if I have to go for loan, as you rightly said, backward and forward, everything is looked into before they release. And not only that, if I skip one EMI, they will make my life into such a condition, I will be literally forced out of self-respect to go and pay. But how is that the same is not happening with these big corporate sectors? Now even you have seen they have started to give corporate benefits, again corporate reduction in corporate taxes as if they are providing employment and everything to everyone. Nothing comes free to a common man. Am I right?
I know because we know that in the initial stages when these airlines, I know I traveled with Kingfisher and later even that Jet Airways, they used to give luxurious things actually because they kept aside all these things and that's public, that is whatever amount that raised through loans and other things,
Right.
they liberally used and not able to get back from the revenues are not sufficient to pay because much of the revenue is basically used actually, spent on all these things. And now, obviously, you see that the losses are there.
Now what the name bank management and then Reserve Bank is also there to regulate
Oversee.
it. How come that they could RBI also could not even detect such type of
Can I
frauds?
interfere?
Yeah, because that's what is the RBI, despite its independence, would not exert pressure. In certain cases, they have their own limitations actually. Because they can't do it, they do it indirectly through bank. Right? So therefore, once you are a defaulter, obviously, what you can do?
But audit
So
statements every year, audit statements, how they could be ignored they have become such huge money in the form of non-performance assets. Our budget is 20 lakh crores. Now more than 10 lakh crores they have defaulted.
Of course, here actually you have to, of course, in these cases, most of these cases, losses are very visible. But besides this, in order to hide this, the fudging of the accounts also become an important element. Because in the case of Satyam and other things,
Yes.
we know how they really fudged with account to show that their share value is not going to be declined. Share value is going to be intact and the investors will continue to trust
Gain.
the company.
Like Arshad Mehta, from Arshad Mehta it started. Yes.
Yeah?
From Arshad Mehta episode, all these things started, how they take care of banks and then fudge accounts and see to that their shares are very high and make middle classes to invest in the shares and then suddenly they vanish.
Yeah, that is actually because once they becomes it's out of control, normally they declare actually. So therefore, once they declare and say whether you technically whatever name you call, it is basically evading or avoiding. Therefore, you have to write off or written off whatever is there. So therefore, it is unlikely that we are going to
Recover.
get back
And interfere.
major part of the money. Maybe
I'd
little
like
bit.
to talk.
What you will do if you sell off? What is that your recently they auctioned this villas and other things of this one.
They should do it transparently, how much it is coming, how much for how they have auctioned, they should be there in the public domain. Nothing is visible.
Yeah. But it is a peanuts because whatever they wanted, they did everything and they are very safe actually. I know they are more or less living the same life they used to do earlier.
What really confuses people, what is there in the common man's mind is, how is that the amount for which they have taken invested through banks, even if they have gone for loss, how is that at the personal front, they still manage to lead such a wonderful life with all the assets?
Because before they have leave the country, they planned everything such that their rest of the life, they live a comfortable life. Actually, their own families and other things. Because the system actually, they know the system very well, loopholes and how to, where to get the work done, what is the way. And
Sir.
if it's not the first, this is not the first case. You have hundreds of such cases in the last 1 decade, if not earlier. Earlier you don't find many such instances, but it is last 1 decade.
Yeah, I know.
You see many instances actually.
Right.
Professor Siva Reddy sir, don't you think
Yeah.
all this is because of political instability in which, for example, earlier it has not happened, you said. Why it has not happened? So many business people, industrialists, they take loans and start industries, which creates employment, which gives economy, which gives product. So self-reliance was also there in that. Now what happened? Suddenly change of government, it is antipathy toward these people. There will be created lot of hurdles for them to run. Actually, for such people who are capable of creating industry, setting up industries and employment generation and economic development, they should be given more incentives to start new industry. Just because one industry has collapsed and it has entered into bankruptcy doesn't mean that they are not capable. They should be encouraged to start, not run away from the country. That is what the earlier government for years together has done. Despite of mounting loans, they have encouraged them because they know very well these are the capable people who create employment. And now suddenly, when you are creating such a scenario where they have to run away, just because some other business people are interested and close to this government, doesn't mean that they have to run away from the country. They know very well if they stay, they will be closed and they will be put behind the bar, therefore they run away. See, there is a scare created in the business people, so many running away from the India. What happened? Closure of industries has taken place, unemployment has risen, economy has fallen. So at the cost of economy, the governments are encouraging them to run away so that their assets can be procured and purchased by some other industry, like in the case of Reliance, RIL. Same thing will happen. See, we should encourage those who can create, they may fail, but we should encourage them, give more loans, make them work for the nation, not run away from the nation.
Those businessmen were sincere.
Tatas, for example.
Just listen, over 1 minute. It is easier to say than really execute them.
Right.
Because being in democratic system, there are so many institutions
Okay.
structured.
Right.
Just because somebody is illegal,
Right.
you can't punish them straight away.
Yes.
Right.
And they have umpteen number of
Ways.
situations to escape actually.
Yes.
Right.
Some of them are legally escaping.
Right.
It's not that they are legally escaping.
But this
And
government
some
goals
may
are
be
being
exactly one of them they are illegal, but
Right.
there is also a system. So in that context, you have to look into the institutions which have to be tightened such that it doesn't take much time to what is called pinpoint and what is called rectify this situation.
now this government
And
has
there
got
has to be-
Benami Acts and all such type of things, new setups, and how far they are going to help, and if that is the case, all those Benamis should be, their property should be seized now.
Actually here, we are assuming that the government as an institution is independent of all these things.
They are part of it.
But that independence ceases to exist gradually.
Okay.
It is directly or indirectly controlled and under certain control of certain sections actually.
Oh, very
But earlier it was not so. Even earlier elections were there, political parties were there, but
Right.
there was some stability and the control was very, very limited.
Right.
Very limited.
Now these sections are controlling the government now. You mean
No,
to say?
government is controlling.
After economic reform, what happened is now you are using the government to protect the private sector.
Okay.
Earlier, you use the private sector to protect the public system.
Okay.
There's a fundamental change in the structure, and that is how actually all these things are surfacing because our entire what is called strategy
Right.
of development has changed after
Right.
economic reform. All these are essentially consequences of a strategic change
Right.
in our policy and other things. Actually.
So
So
now-
if you look at all of this, then interpret all of this in that perspective.
Okay.
Now what is that we need to do, sir, improve the economy?
Now, how should we protect common man's interest in this during
Yeah,
Corona,
That-
post-Corona?
Because, of course, I thought that when you discussed about NP and other things, we little bit deviated because addressing that is not going to solve.
Yes.
Our solution is because assuming that shortly that this coronavirus crisis is come to a logical end, more or less so. Okay.
Right. That is why we said during and post corona. Now we are there. As a journalist, we don't get salaries now. We are literally on warpath now.
Yeah, because unless you start acting from now actually, now during,
Right.
and the recovery will not be very fast after actually.
Okay.
In that context, I think the governments have taken and also some initiatives.
Right.
First thing is, now actually everybody is broke actually. That's majority of those who really generate demand.
Right.
In this context, you have to go back to what is called some sort of 1930s depression.
Right.
Where everything is available, but no money to buy them.
Okay.
And reasonable extent, now actually money is available. Money is not available.
Everything is available. Yeah. Everything is available now.
Everything is available.
We don't have money to buy.
Yeah, not money is there. Money is there to buy certain things, but not. But
Right.
what is happening? You have to create some demand.
Right.
How to create some demand? But earlier the demand used to come because there is some production activity. The employers are used to employ and then they pay salaries, wages, etc., which is being used to buy goods. And this is how activity is continuing actually.
Right.
What is basically economies? Because the activity should continue. So basically rotate actually.
Okay.
Rotate and the speed should be more and more actually. It should be speed up.
Right.
Okay? So the question is now we are more or less reached a stage of almost stagnation.
Okay.
At more or less because every activity is stalled, isn't it?
Right.
There is hardly any activities which is going on.
Right.
So therefore, to start with, what to do?
Right.
To doing either production or consumption.
Right.
These are the two things actually which are going to be the determinants.
Right.
So therefore, luckily we have some production is there.
Right.
And for that you need consumption.
Right.
So for consumption purpose, you have to create some purchasing power.
Right.
Because the whatever money that is there, the most of the section which is separate generate demand, they are almost bankrupt. There is no money.
Right.
Therefore, in that context, they are asking that you try to give some
Right.
what is called, sometimes we call what is called helicopter money,
Right.
or what is called your quantitative using. Because when you really used to it, when you discuss about what is these are all monetary measures.
Right.
We discussed in some other context actually, how to control inflation, how to generate, etc. Now in this context, it is essentially to give some money.
Right.
That is, you to pump some money in some form or other.
Right.
Okay? So in that context, they are saying that try to give some money to the buyers, maybe whatever $5,000 to $115,000, etc. That there should be continuity actually.
Right.
So when they go and buy the things, so the producer producing goods, they will go back and create some activity, isn't it?
Right.
Okay.
That's why America is giving 1 lakhs into every account and Japan 70,000 in every account continuously. Now America is planning for another set of.
That is required.
Right.
And earlier actually, because that is called your earlier in 1930s de Gaulle policy.
Okay.
That is American President de Gaulle, based on your Keynesian theory.
Right.
There was a lot of unemployment was there. There was no demand for the goods. There was some. That is all. That is godowns are filled with stocks of all types of goods.
Right.
In that context, they said that you dig the pits and fill up.
Okay.
So what is the net result? Net result is zero, but you created some activity and you are not giving free of cost. You ask them to dig and fill.
Okay.
And you pay for that one. Similarly, now you take up certain public activities actually.
Right.
Maybe that is what is called Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Program in urban areas, some activities.
Right.
Or you do some, what is called small and medium enterprises, some investment or some subsidies that they can go and employ that
Right.
workers, etc., so that it starts gradually.
Okay.
So therefore, now the revival should start from the bottom.
Right.
And revival at the top is not going to help at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
The ground level gradually start addressing, and a revival takes maybe depending upon several other factors,
5,
it may
10
take
years.
months,
Right.
and it may also even take years also, because we are not sure that
Okay. How long Corona crisis going
No,
to?
it is not the corona, it is the
Yeah,
economic.
corona.
And not only Corona, even impending economic crisis also. Recession was also there. So all those things put together.
So many actually, so many things are
Now
there.
the globe is,
And
now the
also-
entire globe is at a standstill. And now let me ask you one thing straight. Now don't you think the
Yeah.
governments have a responsibility in the wake of, as you rightly said, there is no buying or purchasing power of a normal Indian citizen. Now don't you think that state governments and central governments should utilize this, as you said, whatever money it is, rocket money or helicopter money, whatever it is, that should come directly into each and every Indian citizen's account for some time, not just for 1 month. It should continue.
In this country, it is only government has to do.
That's
You
what.
can't expect any other institutions to take care of. It is only government,
Right.
whether the central or state,
Right.
they have to initiate and some sort of, you can create some productivity. For example,
Right.
Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Program,
Right.
that some production activities will take place.
Right.
All this, similarly, you also plan certain things. For example, even construction in urban areas, roads, building, and other things. That is, you have to see to it that some purchasing power is provided to
People.
the needy.
Right.
Who are the ones? For example, if they give money to people like us,
Right.
because I don't think we are going to buy extra things than what we are already purchasing, isn't it?
Right.
It is of no use to give. You have to give to those who really go immediately and spend on it actually.
Right. That's what, as you rightly said, the goods which are there shelved now, those goods will, once they are bought or once they are sold, that production will start with that money, as you right. That will create employment again. That will generate money also for employees. That the cycle rotation will continue. Right.
Professor-
Then actually this is consumption part. Then
Right.
the next phase is investment. Actually, automatically when the demand for their goods start
Production will start.
increasing,
Production.
obviously they take some you try to encourage small investors.
Right.
Like medium industry, small industry.
Right.
They can take certain loans, maybe the banks need loans or something. They also started production activity actually.
Right. That's why you said from bottom to top,
Yes.
not from top to bottom.
Bottom to top is, I think, perhaps the
Yes, sir.
reasonable and the acceptable
Under the
approach in the
circumstances.
present context.
Right.
Professor, Professor,
Sir,
can you hear me, sir? So what I particularly
Yeah.
actually feel, as you said, from bottom up is the best policy.
Yeah.
What I feel is this country was always protected despite of economic upheavals by only agriculturists. So first enrich farmers so that we should not be starved of food. Second, in mandal level, rural area, rural industry should be encouraged so that there is at least local level needs are being taken care. Third, district level activity should go on so that decentralization has started. Focusing only on cities like Hyderabad, it is counterproductive. Again virus will attack, again we will be in disarray, all lives will be in disarray. So this is what I think. What is your observation, sir?
yeah, it's certainly actually because we know that the one positive aspect of this is that in rural areas you don't see much effect of this one,
Yes.
hardly.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are right.
And something is happening, and rural area is going to protect us. Even if you don't work, at least we can get our food. At least next 1 year we are assured, given the agriculture production that is taking place,
Right.
with the great sacrifice of farmers and your agricultural laborers, etc.
Right.
And the revival should start from there actually,
Okay.
because there are also not restrictions. Okay,
Right,
the rural agriculture and agro-based industries, for etc., etc.
Right.
And it's also time to think that the crisis is very severe in metro cities.
Okay.
Sir, this migrant
Therefore,
labor,
it should not be decentralized development also should be the
driving force.
should be the future actually. You should, while going for urbanization and other things, you should see to it that there is not congestion.
Okay.
And all these health hazards are occurring mainly because of this congestion,
Concentration.
urbanization. For example, Dhara in Bombay or some old city parts which are very congested.
Right.
And other places. This is yes, certainly the revival should start from there and gradually rural to urban actually, upgrade actually.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
That is actually.
So
yeah,
one word to our middle classes who have been middle and lower middle classes as to how government should come, both state and central government should come to their rescue. In one word, how do you sum up?
Yeah, actually because nobody is actually in the present context.
Yeah.
Somebody is taking care of rich and everybody is talking about poor. Yeah, because whatever that. But it is the middle class which is silently
Suffering.
bearing the crisis
Yeah.
in different forms actually.
Maybe it
Because
is
obviously middle class has been always silent
backbone,
and absorbing all the
shocks.
bills actually. But it is who are bearing all these things? Middle class, which is basically most of them are employees and other things. They are indirectly paying for it actually. Because, for example, when it comes to paying taxes or in this case is providing some reasonable help, actually who are the one who are helping in this pandemic actually. If you look into those, actually most of them are basically middle class sections.
Yes.
Okay.
Irrespective of whether they are small business people or some
Employed.
employees and other things. They are all doing silently in different parts, even rural areas also, everywhere actually.
Right.
Okay? But they are all ready to sacrifice
Right.
and they are also silently bearing actually.
Right.
All this through one. But
Right.
this section also needs to be addressed
Right.
because where it is basically they are affected different way. So,
Right.
for example, it is the education. Actually, this we are not touched much upon.
Right.
The education is basically a middle class section which is suffering due to all these things actually.
Right. Health and education.
Health and education.
Health and education, both.
Yeah, health and education parts actually these are all
Right.
needs actually.
Right.
And ultimately we have seen what is the loopholes in the existing system.
Right.
They are surfacing everywhere.
Right.
Every sector, what are the loopholes?
Right.
Where we are very weak.
Right.
And there is hardly any area where we are strong actually.
Now, don't you think the government should directly pump some money monthly into these accounts of middle class people?
Not the accounts, but the activities.
So that they will have that buying capacity, because middle class is the largest segment which buys everything. They don't save much.
But that comes to the next stage if the economy is flooded with all gadgets, what is called not necessaries, some sort of semi-luxuries, etc. When you have cars, ACs, fridges.
No, this corona crisis will concentrate on food and health and education.
Government should think of helping this section. But
Then it's only nine. Now let us concentrate on food, health and education. These prioritize, and then environment, of course, yes, environment also.
Basically, I believe in universalization of all these things.
Right,
Irrespective of everybody,
right,
universalization, because unnecessarily creating different sections
right,
It's not good.
and indirectly helping private and other things.
Right.
It's the universalization of health education
right,
and you spend actually, but that is going to what is called yield results in the future actually.
right,
Right? Because you don't have to spend much at a later stage if
Right.
you take care of this now actually.
right, right,
They are all investment in the future actually.
right. So thank you, Professor Shiva Reddy. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Ramesh.
Thank you very much, Sivan.
How do you sum it up now?
One thing,
One
now
word.
government has to do one thing immediately. Last 6 years,
Right.
they wanted to make everybody equal in this country.
Right,
That was the basic motive of this government.
Yeah, doubling the income of farmers to.
So instead of doubling the income, they are making middle class also enter into the poverty or the rich.
Right.
Some may enter into the rich, some else. So they wanted to vanish the middle class.
Right.
That means they are striking at the backbone of this nation.
Right.
And therefore we are suffering all these things.
Right.
The people who are capable, who are committed, who are patriots, they are being neglected.
Right.
People who are looting, they have been given all the necessary inputs.
Right.
And without having a visionary thinking,
Right.
people are resorting to so many activities.
Right.
And actually in action there is nothing.
Right.
Orally everything is being said.
Right.
Credit is being taken
Right.
without doing anything in the field.
Right.
This sort of approach will never yield any results.
Right.
The businessman has to understand
Right.
how best, if his business has to improve, they should learn from Tatas.
Right.
Tatas are one of the greatest patriots we have ever seen in this country.
Right.
From pin to plane, they have manufactured.
Right.
Such people should be encouraged.
Right.
Why go after these Ambanis? Let them grow.
Right.
Nobody is preventing.
Right.
But give priority to these sort of industrialists who really give employment, who give education, who also encourage economy,
Right.
productivity, self-sufficiency. These are important.
Right.
And putting so much, nearly 20% above we are putting on defense.
Right.
Of course, it is also preparedness is good, defense
National
preparedness.
security is also important.
Otherwise, we cannot compete with Chinese growth nor with Pakistan.
Right.
They will create havoc.
Right.
Okay, it is. But it should also spending on defense should create ancillary industrialists.
Right. Not like
Defense
again
related industries.
defaulters entering into our
into this
graphics.
defense sector.
Right.
That is what he did.
Right.
In Raffle deal,
And
he has
Ambani.
bought defaulter.
He files insolvency petition here, again he becomes a
He becomes the
businessman in
insolvent.
Rafael.
And as per the government rules,
Right.
any insolvent person, he should not have
Encourage.
anything.
Common man doesn't. If you are default by one EMI, you don't get another lane.
No,
Loan another.
as per rule, once you declared insolvency,
Right.
you are not supposed to have properties nor any other business.
Right. Right. This is for today's discussion. Now government, both state and central governments, union government should come to the rescue of suffering people, right from rural farmers, farming labor to the semi-urban level who are being below poverty line, and when you come to the urban level, the middle classes, employed who have been regular income tax payers. All these people need to be looked into, and you should see to that their purchasing power is increased. In the case of food, essential food and water, which again will help the rural sector farming community, so that they can come up with another crop which would really
Even the migrant, rural, now
Migrant.
people migrated to rural area, they should
Right.
be encouraged to set up local industries.
right. The people
That is the
who
best
have
way.
migrated, government should utilize their skill, their experience, so that they will become part of the rural economy, and they should be absorbed immediately without they losing
Economic
their
interest.
insight and everything. Similarly, as have been requesting the government after government, if 15 lakhs into every account, as you were promised in 2014 by bringing
No, he
out black
cannot
money,
think of.
this is the right time, Mr. Prime Minister.
No, he
Modi.
cannot give.
You have to understand that promise which you have done on
First
in the eve
promise.
of 2014 election, now this is the right stage for you. Whether you will become as a statesman and come to the rescue of people, it is to be seen, as well as even the state chief ministers asking for helicopter money, not for new contracts kindly. First you pump that money into each and every account of the citizen
Improve
who
the
is
purchase
looking
skill.
towards the government, lockdown after lockdown, and people have been psyched. Health issue has been converted into a law and order issue. So people are suffering, people are requesting you for some immediate monetary help. At the same time, see to that all those food and agro-based industries are also taken care of, so that if farmer is not taken care of, you will not get food for the next crop. Food is essential, quintessential to fight any corona infection. So kindly, at least now the rulers should start thinking that the growth should be from bottom to top. Kindly keep the pyramid in your mind. It's not from top to bottom, or 1%, for the sake of 1%, don't compromise 99% of Indian population, which are really suffering because of bad management, lack of preparedness. At least now come to the rescue of people. Otherwise, the social unrest may take over everything. Every ruler has to understand. With this, we are going to close this discussion. See you soon with another good discussion of relevance and of contemporary importance. So you have to see to that. You always greet people through namaste, adab, or you say hello. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap or hand sanitizer. Keep physical distance. It's not social. Let me correct you. It is so keep physical distance so that socially you can unite and socially you can live in a much better way. At the same time, whenever you go into the public places, use cough etiquette to sneeze or cough. Use your elbow, or else you wear mask. And whenever you wearing mask, see that in between you open the mask and breathe easily, so that you are fresh and there is no hypoxia conditions in your body, so that the oxygen levels prevail. At the same time, keep taking water a plenty, 4 to 5 liters in a day. In between, take warm water also, so that you can stay hale and healthy. At the same time, take nutritious food, which our farmers have been we are lucky enough so that our farmers have got them in abundance. So keep buying nutritious food, stay home, stay safe, relax, enjoy your life. See you soon. This is Dr. Tangella Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR saying bye to you.